Oh my gosh, guys. It's here. Virtual reality is here. Oh, this is so crazy. What is up, guys? It's Brandon here, and hope you guys like that little silly intro. In case you couldn't tell by the intro and by the title, today I will be reviewing the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Touch virtual reality headset and motion controllers. So yes, virtual reality is here. I've actually owned these things for a little while. I bought the Oculus Rift virtual reality headset before Oculus Touch was even announced. I bought it like a month after it launched. I can't quite remember when, but sometime in 2016. And then I bought these in December, right around when these guys launched. I think a month after these guys launched, I picked up these guys. And let me just say that this is the most, this is the coolest thing ever. If you guys still haven't tried virtual reality, just go. Just find out. I know some Best Buys have demos and that kind of stuff. Like some malls have demos and stuff. Just try it. You'll be hooked, most likely. It is very addicting. It's very weird and cool. Do note that you will need a pretty beefy computer, but that's, if you have the money to dish out for one of these headsets and the controllers, I'm pretty sure you can dish out the money for a gaming computer that's worth it. So, just to get it out of the way, I will not be doing a review about the HTC Vive headset, and it's mainly because I don't have the money for it, and I've used it at a gaming expo in Tulsa, and I just really prefer the Rift better and the touch controllers. These are just so much comfortable. Now, I didn't know that these were going to be more comfortable because by the time I already ordered my Rift, these weren't announced yet. So it was kind of a chance, but I'm glad I picked it because overall, now thinking back to when I tried the HTC Vive at Expo Gaming Expo in Tulsa, these are way better. They're just more comfortable. As you can tell, they're ergonomic. I also like the analogs compared to HTC Vive's little touchpad thing that they have on their HTC Vive wands. The headset itself, I like the nice, sleek, black look. There's not a lot of crazy things going on, like the HTC Vive has all those dimples. While that is for tracking, I don't actually know if it'll pick up the tracking, but there are lights, infrared lights. That's actually how these work on the front and on the back. And these little rings. The prototype version of this was actually called Half Moon due to the ring shape here. So that's pretty cool. And all this is an infrared ring. So all it has is infrared lights, like what you use in your TV remote. That little black part that you can't see. If you ever take your phone camera and point it up to that and then press the button on your TV remote, you can actually see it. Pretty cool stuff. That's pretty much what these are. It's just much smaller and there's much more of them being spread around. Also, one thing I never thought I would actually tell someone, like one of my friends, show them, is a little battery compartment here. It's magnetic. You just throw it on there, as you just saw, and it clips on, and it just peels right off. It's weirdly addicting. It's cool, though. One thing that this has over the HTC Vive as well, and I know this is becoming more of a comparison than a review, but deal with it, is that they have these thermal readers in the actual touch controllers. So if I were to do this, I'm not necessarily pressing the button down, as you can see, but if I'm just resting it on there, my hands are resting in VR. If I take it off, as you notice, I'm not even pressing down. If I just do that, my virtual reality index finger will actually point as well. Same thing works with the thumbs. That's just one little, it's a very small detail, but it's the subtle details that make you really feel immersed in virtual reality. And that's what got me really excited for virtual reality. Probably my favorite game that I own is probably Robo Recall, which is free with the Oculus Touch controller. So I really do recommend. I think it's Oculus. I'm pretty sure it's Oculus exclusive too. So really cool game to check out. The guns just feel right to my hands. Now while these triggers, I don't know if you can hear that, they're clicky. They don't go as far back for shooters. They do good enough. But, I don't know, it just seems to be missing something sometimes. But when you're in the game, you obviously can't tell. You're throwing stuff like I was in that opening scene or whatever. But they're just, it's oddly satisfying shooting guns and beating, controllers are oddly like satisfying to hold. It's just weird it's funny what weird stuff you'll do in virtual reality that's just oddly satisfying. Like Gorn, for example. I just love beating the crap out of someone. It's just like these big naked people. Just fun stuff. Um, these big like naked buff dudes. Yeah, that's Gorn for you. They're actually not naked in the new patch. They actually have armor and stuff now. But in the first patch, no clothes. So just some weird stuff going on there. The analogs, I've already said, I prefer them much better. They're so smooth. Like, I really think that people who make game consoles really need to take some advice when it comes to analog sticks. These are like smooth. It's freaky stuff. You have your standard A, B, X, Y. So like an Xbox controller, which I'm pretty sure they partnered up with to make the touch controllers. Don't quote me on that. But whenever you bought the Rift headset standalone, you got an Xbox One controller, and they use the same button layout. So something tells me there's a little help in that department, at least, or some inspiration. Not necessarily. But let's actually get to this headset here. It's actually pretty cool. We'll go ahead and get rid of all the technical aspects of this headset. These cables are long, by the way, so you have been warned. There's always something on this cable, but that's fine. These are very long cables for room scale, obviously, and we'll talk more about room scale and that kind of stuff later. So here we have an HDMI and a USB 3.0. That's all you need for the headset, actually. And that's actually another cool thing. The touch controllers actually don't need any cables to them. They actually hook up to your headset wirelessly. The only thing you actually need to plug in is the second sensor that comes with the touch controllers. So let's go ahead and touch on the subject of room scale. Oculus recommends 3 sensors, which is an additional $80, I believe, $80 to $70 for a third sensor to put behind you. So you have 2 in front of you, and then you have 1 behind you, and that's how you essentially do the room scale. I only have the 2 sensors. While I can tell as soon as I turn away that tracking does get a lot worse, it's bad, but it's bearable. It does lose the immersion factor after you've when it first happens and you glitch out. You're like, oh yeah, I'm in a game. But then after a while, it's kind of fun knowing you're in a game though, and it feels and you lost, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a game. It's kind of that butt kicker. I don't know, I kind of like it, but as long as you're doing 180 stuff, so here's your 180 view, 360's back here. As long as you're doing 180 stuff like job simulating and that kind of stuff, 2 sensors will be fine. There's also some HTC Vive games that work for the Rift. I'm pretty sure all VR games work for each other. It's just the button configuration will be all different. You won't have your little cool features like the finger features, which I think are really cool. You won't get those. So for example, would be Pavlov VR. Probably one of my favorite VR games on the market is Pavlov VR. Even though it says it's HTC Vive exclusive, it still runs on my Oculus Rift just fine, which I think is pretty cool. So let's get back to this little nifty Rift. You got a slider on the bottom here that will pretty much adjust the lenses. So if your eyes are farther apart than your friends or whatever, it makes sense that way. It's got this nice soft touch foam right here, and the headset itself is very comfortable. I would say more comfortable than the Vive when I used it at the Gaming Expo in Tulsa. One thing that this also has over the Vive, so far we have aesthetics, the cushioning, also the screen door effect doesn't seem, I know the resolutions and frame rate are the exact same on the 2 devices, but the screen door effect seemed much greater much more noticeable in the HTC Vive than it does actually in the Rift. The Rift also has this fabric on the inside by the lenses to help it breathe, to keep you from fogging up the lenses. A great addition there. And built-in headphones, which is a huge win over the HTC Vive. You pretty much have to pick, wear your normal headphones, which mine are the Astro A30s. I already told you guys that in another video. Pretty sure that's the Bose SoundLink Color review. Check that out. Link will be in the description below. But just the fact that I don't have to run like more cables for just my headset is actually very nice. It actually adds, like, keeps me from losing the immersion when I'm in virtual reality, because it really sucks whenever you get tangled up in these cords. And let me tell you, you will get tangled because these cords are so long. Like, cords everywhere, cords. And I try to route them the best I can, but you do need, it's hard to route them because you need the slack for room scale. You see what I'm saying? And so it kind of gets a little iffy. These are beautiful. Simply do not buy the Rift unless you're buying these. These make it worthwhile. Now the Rift with the touch controllers are cheaper than the HTC Vive. I believe altogether it's like $598 on Oculus' store, where it's $799 for HTC Vive. Those are rough numbers, by the way. I haven't checked it in a while. I will have like little video stuff again, like I did for the Amazon links going right now. So aesthetics and comfort is actually very good on this headset. It really does grip your head. I'll put it on real quick, but it really does grip your face pretty well. And don't worry, in case you're wondering, you will look like a super dork wearing this thing. But that's alright, because I was already a dork anyway, ladies. But no, it's got this little sensor in here too. I believe it's like a heat sensor, just like a light sensor. I can't actually tell what sensor it is, but pretty much once you cover it up, so that's why I'm thinking it's light. But it also might be heat based. Comment down below what you might think it is. But pretty much whenever it's covered up or whenever there's heat applied, whatever it is, it's right here. I don't know if you can see, it's right off the top. And that pretty much tells it when the headset's active. I don't have it plugged in right now, obviously, but normally there's an orange light when it's not on, and a white light once it reads something, and that's when I actually output your VR specs. Now, another thing that I just want to throw out there is that you don't actually need a VR-ready computer to use the Rift. And I know a lot of you guys are going to like go down the comments and be like, Brandon, you're so wrong. And I'll tell you why. I'll have a screenshot probably running right now, but my computer is technically not VR-ready. But when I, through Oculus' standards, Oculus says my computer is not VR ready, but when I run it through Steam's VR test bench, it says my computer is VR ready and can run everything at the highest presets. I think Oculus just wants you to have way above the actual margin. That way you'll never have to worry about like upgrading and that kind of stuff. Where this box right here, it is older components, I am upgrading it. But as of right now, I'm running an R9 290 and an Intel X547 or Intel Xeon X5470. That's like at 3.4 gigahertz and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, 8 gigabytes. Ugh. But that's what I'm running right now. I don't even have an SSD in this computer. It just has a 1 terabyte Western Digital hard drive. It is, the CPU is water cooled though, if that accounts for anything. Woo. But yeah, so you don't necessarily need to have the Oculus ready computers, because every time I launch Oculus, as you see in the screenshot before, it says my computer does not meet Rift's specifications, and it says VR experience may be poor. But if you go on Steam, it says my computer is just fine. So that might result to some problems. I had problems anyway because my computer wasn't VR ready. It actually wouldn't let me download the Oculus software, which I think is retarded too. Even people who don't have VR ready systems, even if the Oculus system says that our system is not Oculus ready, it should still let us download the software. I don't know if they fixed that, but I had to find an account on Reddit that had an older version of Oculus that actually didn't have that lock feature. I'm hoping they did away with it, but if not, I'll try to find out on Reddit and again link it. But it took me about an hour to find that Reddit link, and it may have been deleted. So those are some things you might have to look out for if you're going the route that I took. Now my new system that I'm building is going to have a GTX 1070. It's going to be an Asus, I believe. No, it's an MSI superclocked GTX 1070 graphics card with an Intel i7 4790K processor. That's going to be overclocked with 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's going to be completely overkill. It'll be technically VR ready in Oculus' standards, and it's just a huge upgrade from this box. And so I'm really looking forward to that computer, because it's also going to help I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I actually changed the video quality of these videos from 720p, and this is now 1080p. But this computer sometimes has trouble editing 1080p footage. It does pretty well, but it's a little buffery at times whenever I'm adding effects and stuff. This headset overall is very good for the price too, especially because it's about $100 cheaper than the Vive. I think the controllers are better, the integrated headphones are better, like the fact that they offer integrated headphones are better. It's just, there's a lot of things about this headset that I just like. I also, as I mentioned earlier, I just like the aesthetics of this headset over the HTC Vive. I just like that it's clean and sharp. I don't know if you guys have seen a picture of my setup. I'll do a setup tour later. Hit the like button if you guys want to see a setup tour. But once I do that video, I plan on doing it anyway. But I like to keep it pretty slick, you know, not very, but a very slick, standard, modern look. And I think this really has a nice, modern, you know, whenever we used to think in the past, when we used to think of virtual reality, we thought this crazy, futuristic headset, but now it's this little, modern, slick headset. And I think it works beautifully, and it looks beautifully. It performs well. These controllers are perfect for pretty much, I've had a lot of different people with different size hands use these, and everyone said these are easily the most comfortable controllers I have ever used in my gaming life. Just no doubt about it. And there's a lot of other people with different size hands than me that say the same thing. I'd like to believe that I have relatively big hands, and these just fit. It's weird. To use an analogy that Luke from Linus Tech Tips used, is that whenever you put your finger on WASD on your keyboard, it's kind of like that, but for the first time. And I think that is the best way to describe this. Luke stated that very good, and I'll have a link to their Oculus video below, but that is so true. You just feel so, you don't need someone to tell you how to use these. You automatically know that these side buttons here are for grabbing. And these side buttons, while we're on the topic of side buttons, they go down relatively easily, so you don't have to like death grip your controllers. And once you hold it, it makes you hold it tighter, but not like death grip it. So it's actually very comfortable to grab things and throw things. It's really cool when someone's recording you in VR and you're just like doom doom doom, and you're doing that. It looks super weird in reality, but in VR, I mean, you're like grabbing bullets if you're playing Robo Recall, and you're just like throwing them back. It's pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. And I have been on the hype train. I have been on the virtual reality train ever since the DK1 of Oculus Rift. I actually never got any of the DK sets. I was waiting for the official version, saving up my money, and I got one like a month after it dropped. The consumer version dropped, which is this guy. And I have never looked back. This thing is a beast. If you guys haven't tried virtual reality, it's worth it. It's some crazy stuff. I was going to show you a little bit of gameplay, but OBS wasn't picking up Job Simulator, so that's not going to happen. I tried to record that before this, but that didn't quite go down exactly how I planned, so if I figure it out, I will upload that another time. That'll probably be one of our gameplay videos. Also, if you guys haven't checked out, we have a Destiny gameplay video. And that brings me to another thing. So this Sunday, not today is Sunday that I'm recording this, but you guys are seeing this Monday. So this Sunday, we're going to upload a video, and that'll pretty much talk about the schedule that me and my team are doing, because this is Iceberg Media Group. I'm not the only one doing it. I am the main person who does this, but I am not the only one who does this. And I'll introduce you to the team then, who help make these videos, and I'll also show you the schedule. So everyone has their spot. I'm just the product review guy and the tutorial guy. And then we have Joey and Dylan who do the gameplay stuff. And then we have Spencer who is going to help edit and pretty much keep track of all of our goodies. And he'll also make appearances in the gameplay stuff with Dylan and Joey. And I will do some gameplay stuff with them too. But pretty much we want to upload every day except for Sunday. And we'll get to what videos will come out which days on the Sunday video. So hopefully you guys like that. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, dislike it. Subscribe if you really liked it. Share this video if you have a friend who is maybe thinking about picking up the Oculus Rift or can't decide between Oculus Rift or HTC Vive or the Samsung VR. Am I right? No? Okay. But also, don't compare phone VR while I'm at it. Just don't compare phone VR to this VR. It is not the same. The frame rate, the resolution, this is the better. If you can, try this out. I mean, that's good for like testing your feet in the water, but this is the full-fledged dive. Like, if you want some Matrix stuff, you go with this thing. Anyway, so share the video if you think anyone can benefit from this video. And I'll just see you guys again really soon.